Welcome to Grim Dark Gains, a bi weekly podcast where we help you turn from a grot into an orc war boss.
Nice.
Today we set out to answer, does sleep matter? But before we dive into today's topic, we will chat about our life, lifting, and hobby.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, Eli?
I'm doing good, Alex. How are you doing?
So good. Enjoying my decaf coffee because today
Nice.
is not a gym day. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to cut down on my caffeine on days off.
Respectable.
Yeah. Try and take caffeine a bit more seriously lately. I
Mm-hmm.
got burnt with caffeine when I was on vacation,
Mm-hmm.
and really trying not to get into that stage again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
It'll happen eventually,
Yep.
but
Yep.
not yet.
I need to do that as well. I'm sipping a little bit of caffeine right now just for productivity's sake because I was doing
Well,
work
it's pretty
this
early for
morning.
you. It's for me, it's almost 2 p.m. By the time we're done,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be like 2:30. I
Yeah.
have a couple small work things to do, but it's not even noon for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like to have like 100 milligrams just for working sake.
Oh, really? On days off, you do 100 milligrams.
Not always, but when I have a fair bit of work to do, I think it's nice just to stay focused and
That's
motivated.
that's less than what I would do. I'm already at 200 today.
Well, I already have like 300, 400 on workout days, so I try to really
Right.
keep it low or none on rest days.
Oh, well, because you do a 5 day a week
Yeah,
program,
yeah,
right? Yeah. Didn't you say you started a new program?
yeah. I did. I started a powerlifting program. The workout yesterday took me like 2 hours. It was very long,
Oh,
but
long
it's
rest between sets.
yeah. Well, it was 5 sets of squats, and each set had 4 to 5 minutes of rest in between it. So that's 20 minutes of rest just by itself right
That's
there. It's
hilarious.
basically just
What's
taking a
the rep
vacation.
range?
I was doing 5 by 7, and then the last set was 15 reps with half the weight of my top set. So
Oh, what's the logic there? Ending with a super high rep set.
I didn't make it. I'm not a big. I don't have a lot of knowledge in powerlifting.
Yeah, me neither, honestly.
But my bodybuilding coach said that he's done powerlifting stuff before, so he just made me plan. I'm assuming it's just like I don't even know. Kind of just what am I trying to like greasing the groove maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe just like
Getting some
focusing on
extra
form
reps in and
when you're
yeah,
fatigued.
with good
Yeah.
form.
Have you
Yeah.
ever done like a 5-3-1 program?
Yeah, I think so. But it would have been years ago. And I
Yeah,
probably
that's
wasn't actually following a 5-3-1 program. It was probably just something I did. And it was probably something
sure.
similar. But
Sure. Yeah, that's the only program that like kind of powerlifting focused on strength style program I've done. And then I'm like, yeah, this sucks. I'm gonna go back to bodybuilding style.
uh, would you recommend it to our general audience for who want to do powerlifting stuff or no?
Oh yeah, powerlifting, absolutely. Yeah, it was a really fun. I mean, I got stronger in all my three lifts.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, especially when you train in 3 rep range and then like 1 to 2 rep range, you don't get the pumps. You have to be really focused on form. Even if you're not like training, you're training with like probably 70%, 80%,
Yeah.
90% of your weight. You're not ever doing like 100% of how much you could do for 2 reps,
Mm-hmm.
typically.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, it's just like you don't get the pumps. It's just
Yeah.
not the same.
Yeah,
And
that's
I,
fair.
I'm all about the pumps, man. All about the
Mm-hmm.
pumps.
Mm-hmm. I did glute bridges for the first time in years
Oh,
because
yeah. Like
that's
loaded?
yeah. Well, we just with the bar. Well, bar and weight obviously, but yeah, just with the bench and the barbell, and then like a little pad on the barbell.
So glute bridge versus hip thrust. What's
Oh,
the difference there?
same. I don't know. Same thing to me.
Okay,
That's
same thing. I was like trying to imagine him. Like,
yeah.
wait, what is?
I guess
Got it.
glute bridge is maybe the like you're lying on the ground with your back on the
Oh yeah,
ground
yeah,
and
yeah.
you're
That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
yeah.
where you put your shoulders on the back, and then that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Like loaded,
yeah.
maybe with the
So
dumbbell or
I guess
plates.
hip thrust is you can call it hip thrust then. Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
was
bro.
okay.
Hip thrusts are
It's a
something.
it's a
They're
pain to set up. It's a real big pain to set up, and it's just so awkward to like get in position and then get the bar up while I'm also trying to get up on the bench because I'm short. So I have to. My
sure,
my shoulder
sure.
blades can't already be on the bench. I have to like actually maneuver my way up right while I'm getting the bar on my freaking pelvis and like yeah, I just
Yeah,
it's
that's
something.
the weirdest thing is like at the bottom of the saddle's like crawling from under the bar.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
little
a good
awkward. Do you use a Smith machine or just a
I
free
just
weight
do
barbell?
free weight, yeah. We only have one Smith machine in the gym, and it irks me that everyone uses it for hip thrusts. So just out of like principle, I didn't use the
Out of
Smith
spite,
machine. Yeah.
you're not going to be that guy.
Nope. And I think it's probably I think you get more benefit out of just doing the free bar anyways. If I'm doing it for powerlifting's sake, then the free bar is always going to be more effective for just
Yeah,
stability and like working on stability, right? And hitting
yeah,
all those
absolutely.
muscles. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for powerlifting, it's probably most of your work should be done with free weights.
Yeah.
And if you're doing bodybuilding, you can mix and match as much as you want, I feel like.
Yeah. Though I don't think it's worthwhile for bodybuilding. Maybe if you're a girl, but even then, just do
Sure,
squats. Just do
sure,
squats.
sure. It's
Make
awesome. And so are you gonna, I think we talked about it. Are you going to sign up for a meet?
No, there weren't any in the area that
That's
were
right.
available. There were some, but they were full. So we're just gonna
Gotcha,
do a
gotcha.
mock meet. I'm just gonna go to the gym and have a friend come. I don't know, film me and spot me, and just
Nice.
see what I do.
And
I've never
you're
done
gonna
it.
do the four, right? With the shoulder press as well?
I might. It depends on how I feel. Honestly,
Sure.
like doing a max rep squat, I'm dead for the day. So I really don't know how I'm gonna do a max rep for all three. But everyone seems to do it at powerlifting meets, so it can't be that impossible.
What's
Uh,
your strategy? What order are you gonna go in?
well, I figured just the regular order is squat, bench, deadlift, right? That's what
Oh,
normal
right.
meets are.
I'm asking the wrong person. No idea.
I think that's what the normal things are. I think logically it makes sense to do that because then I'm not doing squats and deadlifts back to back, and I shouldn't do deadlifts first because then I'll have no more energy. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll just do one and then I'll go eat some lunch and then I'll come back and do it again. I
Oh,
don't
I see
know.
what you're doing. You're doing
We'll
like a
we'll
full
see.
24 hours.
We'll see. Maybe I would rather just do it all at once, but I'm pretty sure powerlifting meets take forever. So I think
That's fair.
like even
That's
then
fair.
they usually probably have really long breaks in between their lifts. I don't really want to spend 10 hours at the gym though, so
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah. No, when I did it last time, which was years ago now, I did, honestly, it was random. I was like, I'm just gonna do squats, and I felt really good. So I decided to do like a heavy squats. And I'm like, well, that was actually more impressive than I thought. So I just did deadlifts afterwards. And then I did bench. I'm like, I did my
Nice.
big three, and
Yeah.
it was over 1,000. I don't remember where it was
Yeah.
now. It was a while ago.
Nice.
But
Nice.
nothing crazy impressive.
Yep. You started a new program. You said too. Yeah.
I did, yes, yes. So I'm back to a 3-day full body program. I have
Nice.
not done a
Efficient.
3-day full body in a long time, just because I don't think it's quite as arguably not quite as effective because compared to if you can split your workout into 5 or 6 days,
Yeah.
right? But I am coming back from vacation and coming back from just a kind of a hectic lifestyle. I actually really enjoyed having days off from the gym completely when
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to create an hour and a half, 2 hours to go to the gym and I can just focus on other things. Like
Yeah.
today, I got so much done, like
Yeah. I bet.
client calls and content and
Yeah.
and this podcast, and I'm gonna do things afterwards, and I'm gonna get dinner with my dad. Like,
Mm.
wow, because I didn't have to work around trying to fit in a workout.
Yeah.
Now, on the hindsight of it, my workouts are like 2, 3 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm
That's
trying to
true.
do a full body, and I'm still doing accessory work with biceps, triceps, calves, rear delts.
Mm-hmm.
So it does take a while. There's a way to make it shorter, but yeah, those are long workouts. But I do really enjoy them. I think for efficiency's sake, 3-day full body is probably one of my favorite programs.
Mm. Nice. I have a hard time being motivated in my day if I don't have a workout first thing in the day. I am just like less excited and have less energy. I don't know.
Yeah, because
It's
you do work
also
out first thing in the morning, right? Almost first thing in the morning.
yeah. I also
Yeah.
find it harder to speak and record before I if I don't work out in the morning. I don't know why. My mouth is just
Really?
tired, and I guess I clench
Huh.
it the entire time I'm working out, so it's way looser and better when afterwards. I don't know. It's really weird, but
That's
yeah, I don't
hilarious.
know.
So you're going to be off today then, is what you're saying?
Yep, yep. But
I
I've gotten
got
some
you. I
work
got
done. Um, Probably I'll make two shorts today, and then I'm gonna work on a script for a video that I'm pretty excited about. Should be quite
you.
fun.
It's a
Um,
lore video?
Actually, not. It's a people. There's been a big wave. I don't know. A few months ago, there's a big wave of people being like, "This is actually Games Workshop's best game," and it's them talking about Middle Earth. Um,
Oh, okay.
but there's another Games Workshop game that people don't know about that I'm gonna make a video about because it's my favorite Games Workshop game, and it's just a board game called Talisman. So it's
Oh, it's Games Workshop? I didn't know it was
yeah,
GW.
yeah.
Oh,
I
I
don't know
always
if it
heard of
is
it. It's
anymore.
a card game, right?
Hmm?
It's a card game.
Just a board game, like a really big board game with lots of expansions, and I
Dang.
think I think it just went to Pegasus Spiel for a little bit, and now it might be something different. It's in its fifth edition now, I think. But the edition that I played was Games Workshop, and the ones before that were also Games Workshop. So it's gonna be
Cool.
like the real secret best game for Games Workshop or whatever, something like
Bro,
that. But it should be fun.
when we meet up, we can you can teach me Talisman, yeah, I can teach you Old World.
Yes,
That's the
sir.
plan.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I guess this is a nice transition into the hobby. What's happening in your hobby life?
Well, I was at the in-laws last week, so I didn't do a lot. But when I was there, I had some time. I brought my computer. I set up a table in my room so I could do a little bit of work, just like 5 hours worth for the entire like 5 days I was there. But still something. But I had some time to build some more bolt action while I was in there, so I built some more Japanese soldiers, my brave soldiers of the Emperor. I'm really excited about that. We're gonna play a game on Friday, our first game, so that's pretty hype. Oh, I also found a guy on. Well, my friend knew I was there, and so he sent me an ad-on marketplace, like Facebook Marketplace, for a infantry squad of Japanese soldiers for like 30 Canadian, which is like half or more than half of what they cost retail. So I was pretty
Dang.
hype about that. I did some bases. I almost never do bases, so I'm excited that I've finally started to do them. They don't look very pretty though. I don't know. I need to get good. You probably can't barely even see them, but there's
I can see
grass
them.
on
They're,
it.
they're
That's what
green.
matters. Yeah. So I'm doing that. I need to paint them up. I need to paint one guy really nicely and bring him to Axis and Allies because that's in 2 weeks. So I need at least one guy to represent, and then maybe suck my friends into that as well. So yeah,
How long is an average game of Axis and Allies take?
uh, we've played it twice, and the first time we played, I don't know, we were in high school and we played it wrong, but we still played all day and all night, so at least 12 hours. The last time we played, it was 10 hours, and then my some of my friends didn't schedule their entire day and next day around the game, so we had to end early, and I was very
How dare they?
displeased.
How dare they not plan at least 48 hours to play one game?
Truly, it was,
Amateurs.
this is world domination we're talking about. Doesn't happen overnight.
It is crazy that somebody would design a game having in mind that it would take like a solid
Well,
day, maybe two
do
days to
you
play it.
have you heard of the War for North Africa
No.
board game? It apparently takes longer than the actual war for North Africa. It's like
I love that.
yeah,
Those are some real wargaming nerds, man.
yeah.
That's
It's like
designing that game.
it's the most ridiculous game ever made. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
What about you?
Well, it's pretty good given that you were traveling and busy. You actually did a good bit of hobby.
Yeah, I was happy. I did really just built like 10 more soldiers, but I was happy that I could get something done. So
Thing.
yeah,
Yeah, good.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, I got to learn a game of Kill Team. My
Mm.
friend Brendan there in a picture, he taught me Kill Team. He played the Arbites, I think is how you say it,
Yep.
right?
That's what I
The, spa
imagine.
the
The
yeah,
police,
the Imperium
Dread.
Imperium cops. Yep, yep, police. Yeah, police force. They had a robot dog, which is pretty cool.
Nice,
And against my commando orcs, which was
nice.
really fun. There's a picture of a grot there next to an orc, and then
Mhm.
he has a
Oh
rule
yeah.
where he can like cable grappling hook across the terrain pieces. So there was
Nice.
a guy I left with one wound. Well, I didn't leave him. He saved his last wound.
Mm.
So Goblin snuck up behind him. He's on like a 5+ to hit, and he managed to kill, just enough to finish off the character. So it was a highlight for me.
Nice. Very cool.
But Kill Team was really fun.
Yeah, I want to try it. I've never played it. I played like a really old edition once, but I haven't played any of the new stuff, and apparently the new stuff's really good. So I'd
I've
like to
not
try.
heard a single person say bad thing, and I've talked to probably 10, 12 people about Kill Team now, and I haven't heard a single person say anything bad about it.
Yeah.
Everybody's enjoying it, and I really liked it. Honestly, I would, and like with it was a teaching game, so you
Mm.
assume it's going to take longer than usual, and it took maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Not bad at
Yeah,
all.
really not a long time for a teaching game.
Mm-hmm.
And then that same day was a hobby night. I got to
Mm.
play a game of Old World
Nice.
with my 1,000 point of goblins against Luke there in the picture, playing his 1,000 point of high elves. I realized after we started playing that he did not bring a very hard list,
Mm.
and I brought a level 4 wizard, which for context, you should probably only
Mm.
bring in a 2,000 point game.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, I dominated. Next time if I play it, I haven't played 1,000 points for a little bit. Next time I play 1,000 points, probably not gonna bring anything further than the level 2 wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, like it's like bringing a big scary monster
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in a
Totally.
smaller game.
Totally
So
agree.
he did not do that, and I should have. To be fair, maybe bringing level 3 would be okay, but level
Mm-hmm.
4 was a little bit too
Fair.
much.
Fair. I where is this? Is this a hobby store of yours? Is this like a whole cabin? Like is there
No, it's
kitchen and
so
everything? It was.
there's a local club here, and the guy who's the owner of the club, the president of the club, he owns a cool gaming space.
Mhm.
So anybody who is part of the club or a guest of the club can play in this space.
Wow.
Really, I'm blessed to be involved with it, and very lucky to play on a very cool tabletop. I mean, they have this obviously a fantasy and Age of Sigmar table, and then they have a 40K table. They have more time boards. You can see the 40K the skirmish 40K board. So it's a really cool club
That's
locally.
very cool. So
Yeah.
some
Shout out to Barn Owls, is what they call themselves.
nice. Maybe if I ever get to visit, then I will definitely check it out.
You'll be welcome,
There's
absolutely.
I have reason to visit West Virginia, so maybe I'll just head over sometime.
Stop in. We can do
Yeah.
Old World and Talisman.
Yeah. Oh, some secret top secret update for me actually. Me and my one friend are in talks of designing a our own board game or tabletop skirmish game
Man,
and
that's
making like
exciting.
a
What setting?
I'm too afraid to say it. I don't want anyone to
Okay.
steal my
Okay.
idea. But
All
it's
right.
our favorite sci-fi. It's one of our favorite sci-fi settings. Um,
Okay.
and we're gonna. Well, we'll see. It's either that or something else. It depends on if this place will give us like the rights to make a game out of their stuff. I don't really know,
Oh.
but we want to work on something and make like a Kickstarter for it, and we have some cool ideas, and I think it's gonna be pretty epic.
Oh, that's exciting. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Um,
I would like to hear more about it after the show.
yeah.
Private.
I have no idea how that stuff works. I imagine we could just contact them and ask, "Hey, can we do this?" And they'll say yes or no. And if they say no, then we'll do something else. But
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'll always have options.
yeah.
And one more thing I forgot to mention is I am working. I have a game of Old World coming up this Saturday,
Mm,
and I'm working on some Skaven right
nice,
now.
nice, exciting.
So yeah, there's trying to build. Actually, the goal is to literally build 1,000 points before there's an old school Blood Bowl Skaven model at Kid Bash
Oh, nice, very nice.
with 4 arms.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So there's going to be a game on Saturday. I'm looking forward to building my 1,000 points, which right now maybe only 200 are built so far. So there's
Wow.
a lot of building
you
left.
you you and Chuck do crazy freaking hobby challenges. I could never.
Well, what motivates me the most is like a game day, a tournament. So having a game to look
Yeah,
forward to.
true.
Now I have a whole week to like get excited and build an army
Mm-hmm.
for that game,
Yep.
right? And hopefully prime it.
Yep.
But like I
It's.
can't hobby without a goal. Like last year being super busy, 2024,
Mm-hmm.
I have painted 2 models because there was
Yeah.
no tournament signed
Yeah.
up for. I didn't play any games just because it was crazy busy. So yeah, it's two models painted. And
Yep.
this year it's already like no 80, something
Wow.
like that.
Dang.
No.
Yeah. I wish I need to get into a better headspace about hobbying. It's hard for me to motivate myself when because most of my free time is during the day, which is when I do work. So it's either I can do my job or I can build and paint models, and then I feel bad if I don't do my job. Um,
Yeah. No.
yeah.
I totally understand. I think it's a dilemma, a very common dilemma for a lot of hobbyists.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Is there any lore behind this picture of you looking absolutely jacked? By the way,
No,
is
it's
this
just
arm
me
pic?
starting a new program, and that's how I look after a day of a full body day.
Yeah.
Because I ended intentionally because I like doing arms. I ended with arms, so I have something to look forward to in the end, and I started with
Fair.
legs
Fair.
because that sucks. So yeah, no, it's
Is
just a picture, just a picture. Felt pretty good about myself with that pump. I'm
nice.
finally dialed back into the cut a little more,
Oh,
so that
nice.
feels good.
Yep.
I'm finally dropping some weight, leaning out a little bit again. It was so hard to get dialed back in after vacation.
Yeah,
Probably took a
I
good week
figured.
and a half to focus on
Yep.
it. But I'm back in the grind now. Probably another 4 or 5 weeks of it.
Nice. There's a guy on Instagram who like swears by full body. I can't remember his name though. Oh my gosh, I was just talking to him in comments the other day,
Oh, nice.
and if I can find his name, I'll shout him out. But
Yeah, we'll give him a shout out if we can find him. But yeah, full body. If you are a busy person who only has 2 or 3 days to work out, I think it's a superior program.
yeah,
If you do have 4, 5, 6 days, there's better programs out there.
yeah, generally, yeah,
That's what I think personally.
yeah, yeah. I also that uh, what's his name? Cirxus, like Alpha Legion guy, just like posted my Alpha Legion design randomly and like tagged me and Mini Wargamer Dave, and I think you even got tagged.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Stark
I,
says, yeah, he's a cool dude. I actually worked with him for a little bit to
mm,
help him out with the program. He's a great guy, big Alpha Legion guy, pretty big into fitness as well. So no,
yeah,
he's a cool dude. You can, I would recommend checking him out. He is all about Alpha Legion. He
yeah.
has
I you
some
know I have
awesome
followed
pain and
I've
conversions.
followed him for a while, but I've never had a single interaction with him. So it was like really just like really weird and surprising that he did that.
Well,
Here's the guy. The guy I was thinking of, Bangram's Forge on Instagram. Dennis
okay.
Rofici. He lives in Italy, I think. He's a G. And this guy, he loves full body and like stones and stuff like that.
Oh, so he does more like strongman style
I think
training.
so, and like functional
That's
fitness
fun.
and stuff. Yeah.
Honestly, I cannot wait. The weather's been getting nicer, so I'm very much looking forward to swing a mace and lift some of the Atlas stones outside
Nice,
again. It's going to
nice.
be a good
I've
time.
never done stones. I'd love to do that. It'd be really hard for me because my arms are very. I have no wingspan,
Yeah.
obviously, but I think it'd be fun to try.
It's fun. You could probably do a good bit because you have a pretty heavy deadlift
Hmm.
and you have pretty good grip strength, so
Yeah,
I think you'll be fine. It's just
yeah.
getting
It's
the
more
actual
of
stones
getting
around it.
around it. Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the hard part. Yeah, you can do like extenders
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah.
Uh,
All right. Well,
Good,
we have a
man.
topic to talk about today,
We
don't
do have a topic. I guess we can just skip it and talk about hobby and training the whole time.
we? Uh-huh.
All right. So if you have a question you'd like to ask, drop them in the comments below. But today we have a question from a follower.
Hmm.
So Amethystine Art of War asks, could we get one at some point about sleep? I have particularly struggled getting to sleep and staying asleep because of my ADHD. Not to mention, my sleep cycles are always volatile and disrupted. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So today we're going to talk about sleep.
Yeah, thank you for the comment. If you want a topic cover, comment below. While the channel is still relatively small, we can probably cover most of the things that you comment. So might as well put it out
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
absolutely. And we would rather answer questions you guys actually have instead of picking random topics.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Truly.
All right. So I think we should start with answering does sleep matter and why?
Mm.
So I think there's two sections here. We can talk about what happens when you get poor sleep versus what happens when you get good sleep.
Mm.
I say let's start with the negative.
Sure.
So what happens to you when you get poor sleep, Eli?
Plenty of bad things. You probably know more than I do, generally about this topic. But for in layman's terms coming from me, when you have bad sleep, basically nothing in your body works correctly. Your metabolism will be worse. You'll get stressed more easily. You'll have more cortisol in your brain, which will eat away at your muscle. In turn, you won't recover. You won't be able to use all the nutrients that you're putting into your body. Your muscles will be more sore all the time. You'll be tired. You'll have less strength. And on and on and on. I don't know. There's nothing good comes out of getting no sleep, really.
Absolutely. And I think you are 100% correct. We have a ton of research on sleep, like so much literature on sleep with so many different populations. And not once has a study been like, oh, yeah, 6 hours of sleep or less per day is actually good for you. You should totally do that. Never once, not consistently at least, right? Where you consistently can get poor sleep and get away with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go for the list of things you mentioned, maybe expand on it a little bit. So definitely worse energy and lack of motivation,
Yeah.
right? Bottom line, you're not recovering well. Your body does need to sleep. We are creatures that do need to sleep and recover. Most of our recovery happens during sleep,
Hmm.
right? If you're getting proper sleep, so you're just not going to have worse energy. You're going to have worse energy and not a lot of motivation to get things done.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then obviously tiredness, fatigue, and irritability. If you're tired, you're fatigued, you're irritable, you are not grumpy, you're not in a good mood, you're not going to be very fun to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And typically, what that leads to is you might drink a bit more caffeine to offset that. And then the problem with that is obviously caffeine, too much of it can affect your sleep negatively. So you're stuck in a cycle of poor sleep, too much caffeine, poor sleep, too much caffeine. Not to say it doesn't happen to the best of us. I was in that cycle not too long ago on vacation,
Yep.
but it is something that most of the time should be avoided.
Yeah. Yeah. Most certainly.
Yeah, and then you mentioned things like you're not recovering well, you're not utilizing nutrients as well, you're just recovery is down, right? So you have a higher stress, higher cortisol level, higher levels of inflammation in general,
Mm.
leading to worse recovery and higher risk of injury
And dying sooner.
and dying sooner. People who sleep less die sooner, absolutely.
Mm.
Which ties us nicely into the other health, because we talk about about muscle and fat and body composition, which is absolutely affected negatively. You do store more fat, you do lose more muscle when you get poor sleep.
Mm.
But even things like heart disease, diabetes, cancer, all of those things, the risk for those goes up the less
Mm.
sleep you get, right? Because you have higher inflammation, higher cortisol, worse recovery. Absolutely makes sense that those things will get worse.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, even things like getting sick, your immune system is down. There's a study that showed that getting 6 hours of sleep or less consistently will worsen your immune system up to 4 times,
Wow.
right? So you're 4 times more likely to get sick
Mm-hmm.
when you're not getting good sleep.
Yeah. Well, your brain will also work less.
Oh, yeah.
You'll be less efficient. You won't be as smart or quick. So even if you're losing sleep to get more work done, if you just got that sleep instead of getting that work done, you would be doing that work better and faster than if you were neglecting sleep to get it done. So it kind of just evens out at the end of the day, anyways.
Yeah, I love that. You are absolutely right. You can be more efficient with less time when you get good sleep. 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let's talk about what happens. Obviously, let's not get there's reasons not to get poor sleep, right? But
Mm.
what about some positives? What are some reasons to get good sleep?
Oh,
What will happen?
pretty much the opposite of what we just said. You'll have more energy. Your mood will improve. You'll be able to use nutrients better. You'll recover better. You'll be stronger. You'll be smarter. You'll be quicker in the head, just in general. You'll be more efficient. You'll be happier overall, and you'll have a better life quality at the end of the day. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, right on. I don't think I have anything to add to that. Just
Mm-hmm.
better quality of life, more muscle, less fat, better mood, better focus, less stress.
Yep.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Simple hack. And the
Mm-hmm.
funny thing is, it's you don't have to do anything for it.
Yeah.
You have to work to get good sleep, but you're literally doing nothing. You're
Mm.
sleeping. You don't have to diet. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to go on a run. You don't have to journal. All you do is you sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not quite as simple as that all the time, is it? So what are because we're talking about good sleep versus bad sleep, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what are some habits for good sleep? What do you actually have to do
Mm-hmm.
to get good quality sleep? I think this one would probably have you have your own style, I have my own style. So how about we go one at a time,
Sure.
and we'll just name them off until we run out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I definitely think it's different for everyone. Everyone has their own struggles with sleeping or lack of struggle. Like my dad can just go sit in an airport and fall asleep in 5 minutes. It takes
That's
me
awesome.
30 minutes to fall asleep every night, basically, even doing everything correctly. Um, but I guess biggest habit for me is I try to be off of screens an hour before bedtime. At most, I'll like watch something on the TV with my wife, but I don't want to be close to a screen or have my eyes close to a screen. Um, that's one thing that I try, or at least use a red light filter on my phone if I need to go on my phone before
Yeah,
bed.
absolutely. Yeah, so yeah, blue light in general is a good idea to limit that close to bedtime. The further you can cut off blue light before bed, the better, right? So typically 1 hour, but you can do like 2, 3, 4 hours, or wear blocking glasses, or put a red light filter, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
A good idea. Yeah, I'm gonna start with a kind of the big one is allow yourself 7 to 9 hours of sleep,
Yeah.
right? It's a simple one, maybe an obvious one, but reality is if you go to bed at midnight and you have to wake up at 6, you're not gonna get good sleep. It's just not going to have. You can have the best quality sleep, but if it's only 6 hours and you need 7 hours, then it's not going to be good. One caveat there is, we do have a lot of studies that show that most people fall somewhere between 7 to 9, but that number is individual.
Mm-hmm.
For example, for myself, I know it's 8.5,
Yeah.
but I've met people who are closer to 9, sometimes even more. And I've met people who are actually slightly less than 7.
Mm-hmm.
Most people between 7 to 9.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we could mention why you shouldn't have blue light before bed. Um,
Sure.
to my knowledge, is because blue light is telling your body that it's daytime,
Yeah.
and that you shouldn't be going to sleep right now because you're looking at the sun or the sky, basically, like the sun's out. Um, so it triggers your body to want to be awake and not to be sleeping. I guess it takes away the release of things like melatonin and stuff, to
Yes.
my knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it does increase the cortisol, especially blue light. All light in general, when it's supposed to be bedtime, can increase cortisol. Blue light especially so, right? When your cortisol is high at night, it can prevent proper melatonin production, and then not getting enough melatonin affects results in a poor quality sleep.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
also
right on.
things like scrolling on your phone, looking at social media, getting lots of stimulus is going to make your brain work way too fast and give you way too many things to be looking at and thinking about for you to be relaxed, realistically.
Yeah, with that one, just in general, I would recommend engaging in relaxing activity, right? So in good quality rest. So like journaling, reading a book, maybe a calm podcast, painting minis, all those things that can actually like, put you in a parasympathetic state, right? Where you're like, I'm ready to go to bed now and rest,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So yeah, last hour of the day, maybe more, I would definitely recommend. I mean, how many people where they literally will work or do like high stress things up until the point they hit the bed,
Yeah. Yeah. And
right?
then
So
yeah, it's not enjoyable. I also try to avoid once I've gotten in bed or like getting ready for bed, I try to avoid overhead lighting as well.
yeah,
I kind
yeah,
of
good
just try
idea.
to exist in the dark. Yeah.
Great advice. Yeah, yeah, I mean, at a minimum, limit blood exposure, and if you can, just dim all the lights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what I do because I am on my computer a good bit, unfortunately,
Mm.
for work reasons primarily, or even like later in the day, if I like yesterday I was building Skaven army and I was looking up on the
Yeah.
computer, what models I need to build. I wear blue light blocking glasses. Like last 4 hours of the day, just no blue light.
Yeah.
So
I need to
also could
invest in
be,
that.
yeah. I mean, they're like, a good quality one's gonna be $100. It's not
Mm.
not
Not
too bad.
terrible. Yeah.
Okay, well, another obvious one is cutting down on caffeine. Closer, really second half of the day. I
Yeah.
was gonna say before bedtime, but caffeine
Yeah.
does have a long half-life, somewhere between 6 to 10 hours. So on average, 8 hours before bed, no caffeine. So having that cutoff number in your mind, so whether it's 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., whatever it is for you, there's no caffeine past that
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Before then, if you already have caffeine, feel free to through things, get things done. That's why I actually love that you work out in the morning
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have to rely on caffeine later in the day to
Yeah.
get you to the gym.
Yeah.
But yeah, caffeine will absolutely affect your quality of sleep if you have it later in the day. Even if you don't feel like it does,
Yeah.
it probably does.
Yeah. And I guess kind of on that same topic, things like some people need to use sleep aids as well,
Mm,
and some people might use like edibles, like marijuana
sure.
gummies and stuff. And this can help you sleep, but it has been shown that your sleep will be lower quality. Um,
Mm,
it's I don't remember the exact specifics of it, but the cycles that you're in are less just lower quality than if you were sleeping normally. So these do help you get to sleep if you really need stuff like that, but your sleep quality will be lower than if you weren't using them. But some sleep is better than no sleep, obviously.
sure. Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I'm actually not very familiar with cannabinoids and their effect on sleep. On
Mm-hmm.
that subject, I've never really looked into.
I,
So it must be similar to alcohol then, where ethanol will help you get to sleep easier, but then your sleep quality usually goes down with it.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and some people you can easily become reliant on stuff like that, which is
Oh
then
yeah, it's a
not very
whole
good for
other
you, and then you
yeah.
have to be taking more and more and more to get the same effects, just like anything else, really. So I wouldn't recommend using that. Same goes for melatonin. Melatonin's generally largely overdosed and really not good for you in general. And you just, I when I take it, I just wake up tired, and my sleep wasn't even that good.
Yeah.
And it's just the actual. I'm pretty sure the regular dose for what you should be having from melatonin is usually like a quarter or less of what they have in their like one gummy or pill or whatever they're selling you. So I don't recommend melatonin personally.
Yeah, I actually would like to talk about supplements after some
Mm,
of the habits we talk about. But I guess we can talk about melatonin now. Yeah, I mean, typically I would say an effective dose would be a half to maybe 1 milligram, and that's all I recommend taking if you do take it on a regular basis. And even then, I don't recommend it. I completely agree with you. But most doses you get in the shops are 5 to 10 milligrams,
yeah.
which is wild. You absolutely do not need that high of a dose. Um, I think melatonin may be useful if you're like traveling on a new environment and you have trouble falling asleep in those environments,
Yeah. Yep.
not to affect your sleep cycle
Yep.
as an acute um, source of a better quality sleep, sure. But as a regular thing, I don't recommend it as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess I didn't really say a habit. I just said things not to have. But another habit I use is trying to go to bed at the round the same time every night. I don't do it to a T, not even remotely, but I try to go to bed within the same hour or so every night. So usually that would be between 10 to 11. And then even if I'm going to bed at like 12, that's still pretty late for me, but it's not like grossly far off from where I usually go to bed. But yeah, I try to keep it around somewhere between 10 and 11. And then
I
also
love that.
try to wake up around the same time every day. That's depending on how volatile your schedule is, that's harder to do. At the end of the day, getting 7 to 9 hours is the most important thing. But if you
Yes,
have a good enough schedule, or you can be going to sleep around the same time and waking up around the same time, that's very beneficial.
absolutely. Yeah, that's. I'm so glad you said that. Your scared, like everything in your body adapts, right? And the more consistent, the more regular you can keep your schedule, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, I love that. And I guess one thing you mentioned is not everybody will be able to do all those things,
Mm-hmm.
right? So try to do the things that you can control, and the things you can't control, don't worry about them. So
Yeah.
if you have a schedule, where you work 2, 3, 24-hour shifts, you're probably not going to be able to go to bed at the same
Mm-hmm.
time and wake up at the same time every day.
Yep.
But maybe you could try to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep and limit blue light on the off days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you do that.
Yeah. Shift work is tough, definitely, and there's plenty of studies showing that shift work is like really bad for you. Unfortunately, and
Really bad for
I
you.
know it's not a
Primarily,
choice for most of these
yeah.
people, but like the risk of getting cancer and just dying is a lot
Yeah,
higher
much
from working
sooner,
shift
high
work.
risk of, and it's primarily because of sleep, if we're
Yeah,
honest, right?
it
I mean,
is,
stress is higher,
yeah,
cortisol, but sleep is the biggest thing.
yeah,
And,
it's
yeah, we
the
cannot.
yeah, it's the
Yeah,
volatility of sleeping at different times because that really messes with your body. And sleeping during the day is also something your body's not accustomed to, and it's not something you're really supposed to do.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And another thing I will say is sleeping in a dark and cool environment typically is better for you, right? We talked about the darkness of it already. So making sure there's no bright lights, no flashing lights. I would not recommend falling asleep with the TV on, or at least having TV on while you're sleeping. And obviously, in a cool environment, typically somewhere between 62 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit
Mm-hmm.
is the
Mm-hmm.
optimal temperature, or about 17 to 20 degrees Celsius if you're looking for
That's
an imperial
better
number.
numbers there. Very very nice.
So yeah, that's and another thing I guess since we're talking about sensory things is noise.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, you sleep in an environment with consistent noise. So whether lack of noise, like most people, or if white noise does help you, that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. But it's got to be consistent noise with no peaks and
Yeah.
valleys.
Yeah. That was the biggest issue for me when I was a teenager because any noise would wake me up, and my family would also often stay up late, and they would be talking upstairs or anywhere, and I could hear it completely fine in my room, even if they don't think it doesn't affect them, but it affects me, and I would just wake up and I couldn't sleep. Um, so if you can avoid situations like that, that's optimal, but it's really hard, obviously, if you're living
Yeah,
in a house
depending
with
what
noisy
situation you're
people.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you have a partner or kids, there's issues there. But once again, we're talking giving you a lot of different tools, and you utilize the ones you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think did we not mention anything else?
I know I use blackout blinds. Those are good to
Yes.
have.
Yes. Another thing I will say is ideally it is helpful not to drink or eat right before bed,
Mm,
right? I usually create a 1 hour cutoff,
yep.
right? So not eating at least 1 hour before bed, not drinking, not eating because you don't want to, have digestion mess up your quality
Yep.
of sleep, and then drinking is just, waking up, going to the bathroom.
Yeah. 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 And
Simple
I
as that.
mean, I have a glass of water, but I don't have more than that, just because my throat gets dry and then it bugs me
Yeah.
if I yeah. I do
Yeah.
like having a small snack like an hour before bed with some
Yeah.
protein and carbs in it. Then the
Sure.
protein is just getting into your body for the end of the night, and then the carbs uh, will kind of make your blood sugar rise and then go down, so you have a little bit of a you're feeling a little bit sleepier after you've
Yeah.
digested that maybe. And yeah.
And you're probably having just a little bit of it as well. It's not like you're having a
Yeah, it's like
proper
one rice
meal.
cake and some Greek yogurt. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're fine. It's like
Yeah.
100 calorie snack. Now I'm talking about like, well, number one, first of all, you're still doing it an hour before bed, so it's not right before bedtime. And number two is it's a very small thing. So if you are hungry, you need a snack, sure. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend eating a proper meal before bed. That's not no bueno.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anything else we missed with habits?
Mm, I don't think so. Yeah,
Uh,
I don't think so. I think
yeah,
just doing things that relax you, having cold, dark environments that's quiet, not being on screens, not eating a lot before bed, not drinking a lot before bed. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the general stuff for it. Yeah.
and then 7 to 9 hours is what you're looking for,
Yep.
right?
And
Find the time
yeah.
that's best for you. It may figure out some time to get that,
Yep.
but I figured for me it's 8.5 hours. Do you know how much it is for you, Eli?
Generally, I plan around 8, and I plan on being in bed for around 8.5 to 9 hours. 'Cause it takes me a long time to fall asleep, but I
Sure.
think it's only about 7.5 because I wake up before my alarm basically every day.
Okay. That's awesome. I wish mine was 7.5. Then, like,
Yeah.
because it all depends on how long your cycle of sleep is. Because through the night we go through 5 cycles of sleep. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
either 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 5, and depending on how long each cycle of sleep is, to go through 5 or 6. Now I can't remember. That's how long you should be sleeping.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's 7 to 9 hours,
Yep.
somewhere between that, depending how long your cycle is.
Mm-hmm. And you can even
Yeah.
use apps that like track your sleep,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
which is interesting. I don't know how well they work. I used to use one when I was a bit of an insomniac. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're interesting though at the very least. I
Yeah, I'm not very
also
familiar with the quality of them either.
mhm. Even when I can't sleep, I try to at least be in bed for 8 hours and just
Yes.
resting in general. It's obviously not as good as sleeping, but at least you're resting and not doing much of anything. At most, reading a book. But I try to just be in bed with my eyes closed for the 8 hours, even if I can't sleep.
Yeah. What's your go-to way to relax to fall asleep?
Uh, Usually just hanging out with my wife, and she might be watching something on the TV, which like not perfect, but at least it's not right in front of my face. But I really like reading before bed. Uh, if the book is exciting though, then it gets me excited,
That's the
and then I'm
problem.
thinking about it all night.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
usually just like listening to something or having something on the TV like 30 minutes before I go to bed. Because then, to be fair, I watch something on the TV, then I get in bed and I hang out with my wife for like half an hour, and then we go to sleep. So it is in the end of the day, not as
yeah,
close to bedtime, but yeah. Also a habit is don't do things in your room that aren't related to sleeping. Try to stay
yeah,
out of your try whatever room you sleep in. Try to have that only be for sleeping.
yeah. Or
And sleep.
rest.
Yeah, and yeah, rest, sleep related things you would only do in bed. Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree there. Yeah, for me, reading a book is typically the thing that I do. Like I said, wearing blood blocking glasses, even though there's no blue light, I still keep them on just as a habit. And yeah, read a book,
Mm.
turn all the lights off, take glasses off, put them away, and then fall asleep.
And if you
Yeah.
have a hard time sleeping at night, but you take naps during the day, stop taking naps. That's probably messing it
Well,
up.
depends.
But
It depends, right?
if you're
So
taking a nap like at noon, then it's probably fine. But if you're taking a nap at like 5 p.m. and then you're trying to go to sleep after that at like midnight, then yeah,
yeah,
it's not gonna help.
if you're taking anything but a power nap,
Yeah,
yeah, power naps, so like 10, 15 minute naps,
yeah,
don't really affect your quality of sleep later in the day. But yeah, if you're taking like an hour and a half nap, it's 100% going to affect your sleep in a negative way. stop doing them, switch to power naps, and then go get actual proper sleep
Yeah.
throughout the night.
I can't even do that. It takes me minimum 15 minutes to fall asleep, so I can't
That's the
even
problem.
try. I can't even do them. Yeah, I got in bed to just rest yesterday, and I ended up falling asleep for 2 hours. So I mean,
Hilarious.
sometimes you do need that though.
Bro, I was a
Occasionally,
king
but
of power naps in college. I would like
really,
literally take a class, go in my car, fall
wow,
asleep, take like a lab, go to the library, fall asleep
wow,
in the library. Like set alarms, be
yeah,
intentional about it.
yeah.
That power naps got me through college, bro.
Dang,
It
I
was
wish I could
beautiful.
take those. I wish I could take those. If I could eat my breakfast, sleep for 20 minutes, and then go to the gym, I'd be killing it. I bet. Like,
Honestly. And they found even things like taking caffeine before you take a power nap. Just because caffeine takes, depending if you had food with it and stuff,
yeah.
and will take 10, 20 minutes to kick in, right? So if you take 120 milligrams of
Hmm,
caffeine, take 10-minute, 15-minute nap, then wake up, oh,
interesting.
problem is you cannot miss the window of waking up.
Yeah.
If you like sleep for 30, 40 minutes because you're tired, didn't get the best sleep, and you
Yeah.
wake up and it's like off
Yeah.
because caffeine already started, it's just off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, be wary of a lot of things that could have caffeine in them. People don't always think about it. Like Coca Cola
Yeah.
has caffeine in it. Dark chocolate has caffeine. I'm pretty sure.
E-
Green tea has caffeine. A lot of black tea in general has caffeine. So be wary
Yeah.
of that.
Beware, absolutely. People will drink green tea in the evening, and I'm like, well, that has 25, 50 milligrams of
Yeah,
caffeine, and
yeah. Like in
you know,
Japan, we
expect
were
all
having
this.
every restaurant has green tea, right? So we were having green tea in the evening, and it didn't actually
Yeah,
affect my sleep, which was nice. But maybe because it's lower amounts and I was already tired at the end of the day, but still,
maybe slower amounts. You're probably moving a whole lot, and also
mm,
like, where's your caffeine tolerance for the day?
yeah,
Also depends on that. So if you're already doing 500 milligrams, like I know that when I was on vacation and doing 1,000 milligrams, having a
it's
coffee in the
ridiculous.
evening
Yeah,
was not doing much,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um, but we're back to baseline now. We're good. We're
yeah,
good.
yeah. But yeah, still, regardless, don't try not to have any caffeine before bed. I wouldn't personally have like a Coke in the evening. I wouldn't have a
No.
Coke at all generally, but still, I would. You know what I mean?
Sure. At least 6 hours. Push it to 8 if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's wrap it up with some supplements.
Hmm.
Are there any supplements? There are a few that I actually would recommend for sleep if somebody does struggle with good quality sleep. Are there any supplements that you recommend or you use for sleep
Pretty,
at all?
pretty much just magnesium, and I guess ashwagandha technically because
Hmm.
it lowers your stress.
Hmm.
But magnesium is definitely what I like to have for sleeping
That's
better.
hilarious. That's literally what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So magnesium glycinate or citrate is okay. I would say glycinate is probably the best, most absorbable form. I'd recommend 250 to 400 milligrams 1 hour before bed. And then ashwagandha does lower cortisol, so it does lower stress, we should say, which if that's the reason why you're having poor quality sleep, then it's a good idea. Anywhere between 500 to 2,000, it really depends. I recommend
Hmm.
starting low, and if you don't get the benefits, increasing all the way up to 2,000, once again, 1 hour before bed every day.
Hmm. Yep. And there are a lot of sleep supplements out there, and I've tried them. They've never really done anything for me. I had more dreams with
Yeah.
one, but that was kind of it.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
few. There's GABA you can take, which is like regulating it's like a neurotransmitter that
Mm.
regulates the stress levels in your body. Honestly, the ones that have worked true and tested for me and my clients, magnesium glycinate, 250 to 400 milligrams, ashwagandha, 500 to 2,000 milligrams, and arguably L-theanine, maybe because it
Yeah.
does help you kind of, relax and rest. Probably not right before bedtime, but second half of the day, L-theanine may be helpful to kind of
Mm.
calm you down a little bit.
Yep.
And L-theanine I would take somewhere between 100 to 400 milligrams as well. So those three are probably the main ones. And there's other things as well, but I'll probably talk to your doctor about them.
Yeah. There's also teas, like sleepy teas. Um, when I tried one of those during prep, I had the same problem with I already forgot what it's called. This thing that starts with an M that I said not to take.
Melatonin.
Melatonin. I have the same problem with melatonin. It initially makes me really sleepy. If I don't fall asleep during the time that it's working, though, I am up all night, every
So it's
single
like
time.
time it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think chamomile teas in general are known. I actually don't know what the compound is in chamomile. that helps you sleep. But yeah, chamomile is known for better quality sleep.
Mm, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. There's a few things you can take, but at the end of the day, I would stay away from like proprietary blends and fancier
Oh
supplements
yeah.
because at that
Oh,
point, if you need to take that to fall asleep, you're gonna start to have to take that forever to fall
you
asleep.
can over rely, and in general, proprietary blends, it's kind of a red flag for me
Yeah.
because you don't know the dosage of things,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So like, because they don't
And
mention anything.
magnesium's already really good for you. So is ashwagandha. So there's really no downsides to taking something like that.
Yeah.
So even if you're relying on that to sleep, like you're not actually getting any
Oh,
negatives from
there's no
it. So
negatives. Most people don't get enough magnesium through diet,
yeah.
and ashwagandha is just good supplement because most of us have too much stress in our lives.
Hmm.
If you're pretty chill and laid back and there's no stress in your life, great, good for you. But otherwise, ashwagandha is probably a good supplement for
Yeah.
most people.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it could
and
raise your
with all those
testosterone.
things,
Oh.
well, I wonder if it's because it improves your sleep.
Yeah, and it just lowers your stress, and yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
because like they
probably
have studies
why.
that show it improves testosterone, but it also like consistently improves sleep.
Hmm.
I wonder how much of that is just like, oh, you just get 2 hours of sleep every night extra, and now your
Yep.
testosterone is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we covered a lot of ground with sleep today. That was good. I
Yeah, I think it was good.
feel like I'm
I
gonna take a
also,
nap now. Not gonna
I,
do that.
I guess one other thing is, if possible, you shouldn't work out right before bedtime.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
another
if
thing.
possible.
Yeah, I had. Oh
Ab-
my gosh, one of my old managers where I used to work would he had a kid, so his sleep schedule was just fricked. And he would be telling me that he was like double scooping his pre workout and going to like Planet Fitness at like 2 a.m. just like to get his workout in. Like it's unbelievable.
Ah, that's. I mean, if you're gonna work out at night, do not double
Yeah,
scoop.
yeah,
Like
seriously.
3 hours before bed. That is a horrible idea.
Yeah,
Short term, like that's definition of a short term solution right
yeah,
there. That's
yeah.
hilarious.
I knew a few
Yeah,
people who were going to the Fit for Less because that's 24 hours at like past midnight, like
yeah.
regularly, and
I mean,
I couldn't do it.
it's a meme to be relying on caffeine to get through the day and to get a work done, but don't actually do that, right?
No.
Like it's funny. I get it. Drinking 10 monsters a day is hilarious, but don't actually do that. Like you're actually going to see negative results if you have a short-term strategy with caffeine like
Yeah,
that.
it's a tool, and you should use it responsibly. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Wow. Look at that. That was great. Awesome, man. I think it's time for wrap up.
Yeah, yeah, I think
All
so.
right. If you want to support us, go to grimdarkgains.com and start your health and fitness journey. You can find Eli at Deadlifts for the Dark Gods and myself at fit_hammer on Instagram and YouTube. You
Mhm.
can find a link to Grimdark Gains Discord on our Instagram at GrimdarkGains or our personal Instagram accounts. Thank you, and until next time, stay Warhammer strong.
Very well.
Yeah.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Love you.
See you guys.